Good evening. My name is Sean Webb, and I'm the Director of Community Engagement for Desert Sands Unified School District. You're with us tonight for a special evening with the La Quinta High School counselors, where they're going to give staff information out to all of their class of 2023 students. Before we begin, I want to go ahead and thank the Desert Sands Educational Foundation for providing this format for all of us. You can see we have all of their counselors here, and we also have their assistant principal that oversees the counseling department, Dr. Ramirez. But before we start, I want to go ahead and read off the mission statement for the Desert Sands Foundation. The Desert Sands Educational Foundation secures funding and awards money to provide supplemental resources that enrich and enhance student learning in Desert Sands Unified School District. And we do this obviously with partnering with our schools. And as I shared, they have partnered with us tonight, and they've partnered with the district to go ahead and provide this format and this platform. So let me go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and exit all of the counselors who are not going to be partaking right now. But let's see here. Dr. Ramirez, how are you doing, sir?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm doing well. Thank you, Mr. Webb.
Excellent, excellent. See, I have to hand it to you guys. This is the, I want to say, fourth or fifth time that I've been with you guys on to doing an informational night for your students and your families. And I just want to say, I think that's absolutely fantastic.
Oh, no, well, thank you. One of the things I want to share is this is something that we do on a yearly basis. And the moment the schools shut down back in March, this team, our great counseling team, they sat together and right away they wanted to talk about, okay, how do we communicate, how do we reach out to our communities, to our students, because they know that this is valuable information. So from the get-go, they knew that we need to stay in contact, stay in communication with the families, with our students. And they sat down, they started brainstorming, they started looking at, okay, what are some ways, if we can't meet face to face, if we can't meet them in the gym, or we can't meet them in the theater room, what are some ways that we can best reach out to our families? So I give all the credit to the counseling department here, because they, like I said, from the beginning, they stepped it up and they came out with a really solid plan.
I agree with you fully that when we started off doing meal distributions, I was just going on Facebook Live every now and then just to highlight and tell everybody what's going on, to let our families know. And I saw, and the foundation saw, that a lot of our families were responding well to social media. And that's why they were able to purchase this platform for us. And I just want to thank them again, because if without that platform, it makes it a lot more difficult to do these types of things. Zoom definitely is a great platform to have all these types of events and so forth, but this is designed specifically for streaming and information going out. So I'm glad that you guys are utilizing this, and I know you have some great information out for your sophomores tonight. So let's kick it off. Who's going to be one of our first presenters?
One of our first presenters is Miss Davis. She's going to give us some information, regarding our counseling department, some of the services we provide, and how we communicate to families.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Well, Dr. Ramirez, thank you very much for all the valuable time that you're providing us tonight, and thank you for the guidance of your team here. Let's go ahead and start with Mrs. Davis.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Mr. Webb. Nice to see you.
Hey, Mrs. Davis. Great to see you again. How are you doing?
I'm doing just dandy tonight. And, I'm glad to have this opportunity for us to share information with our students and their parents. As you know, you can use the bit.ly that was sent with the notification about tonight's event to ask questions, which we'll be able to answer throughout our presentation and also at the end of our presentation. But to get us started, I just want to remind our students and our families some things about accessing all of the staff members here on campus. Now that we're doing everything in distance learning mode, we've all become quite familiar with how to utilize Zoom to connect that way for classes. But I know when you need some individual support, one of the best ways to reach out to your teachers or other staff members on our campus is to use email. Through your student view accounts and through parent view accounts, you can access the teachers' emails directly from there. But if you do need to get in touch with someone else on campus, if you look on our school website under different departments, like for instance, if you don't know how to contact your counselor, you'd be able to just go to the La Quinta High School website, click on the counseling tab and see us. Or if you were to look for a different teacher that you don't have, you can look under academics. But all of our web addresses are embedded in different parts of the school website. Our staff members here on campus include the counseling department right now and our administrators. So if you needed to get in touch with someone directly that's on the campus, you could use a phone and call here on campus because we are in our offices during regular school hours. Another way that our students are finding ways to communicate with their teachers, and one of the things that the counseling department has adopted this year, is the use of Google Classroom. We find this to be a wonderful way to be able to share out information to our students since we don't have the luxury of daily announcements. So hopefully you have joined the Google Classroom for the class of 2023. If you haven't, right now, Mrs. Morales, she's navigating our presentation. She's popped up the join code for the La Quinta High School's Counseling Department's Google Classroom. And this is the one specific for our 10th grade class, our class of 2023.
And I'd like to point out that I made sure to, during classroom conversations, mention that you guys are doing this tonight. And I mentioned to all of our families to participate and watch, because there's a lot of valuable information. And I know that this is La Quinta specific, but I'll tell you that a lot of our other school sites are doing the same thing. So if you're watching tonight, you didn't catch one of their webinars, like for Shadow Hills, Indio, or Palm Desert, I know that the comprehensive high schools are doing very similar things with their classes. So reach out to their counselors as well.
Absolutely.
Sorry to steal your thunder there.
No, I appreciate when you're able to highlight some of the things that maybe I gloss over really fast, but that's a great point that across the valley with Desert Sands, we do work closely with the counseling departments at other schools just to kind of make sure everyone's given the same information to students across the board. One of the unique things that we have going on this school year, in addition to adding this Google Classroom for the counseling department, our schedule in distance learning is offering the opportunity for office hours. This isn't something that we've normally had for our students. When our students needed extra help, they would rely on after-school tutoring to get that extra support. But what we have built into our schedule every day except for Wednesday is a chance for students to meet with teachers between 11:25 and 12:25, depending on the teacher's schedule, to get that extra support outside of the classroom. And so Mrs. Morales has pulled up the schedule for our entire staff. So if you had a question about what your teachers do offer as far as office hours, click on this link and you'll be able to see when and be able to access their Zoom meetings during those office hours. And like I said before, this is kind of in place of tutoring because you don't have the access to come after school and drop by your teacher's classroom. So this is where you would get that extra clarification during the office hours time.
And I'll mention, I've been playing around with Zoom on my own. I haven't really used it much, and I love the breakout room feature that it has. And that the person that's in charge of the meeting can go from room to room. And I'm sure that's being utilized in office hours, right? Where
Absolutely. And as counselors, we have office hours as well. Right now, we are focusing a lot on giving support to our seniors that are applying to universities and getting ready for that step that happens after graduation. But when the second semester rolls around, I imagine that we will be utilizing our office hours for helping students with their scheduling for the following school year. And if you needed to book an appointment with the counselor during office hours, just email us and we'll be able to set up some time for you during that time, or give you the link to wherever we're hosting our office hours for the day.
And I know the seniors, they should be working on that FAFSA right now because Mrs. Peterson put that right in my head last time. That's what you guys are doing with them during office hours.
Yes. And so I mentioned before with counseling, you're able to connect with us through the phone, through email, and through Zoom appointments as you schedule them, or as we may reach out to you and schedule them to connect. But one of the things I think students forget about is the fact that as counselors, you know, we're here to support you when you're dealing with some of the challenges that happen outside of the classroom. So if there's anything that you're dealing with as far as, you know, concerns with friendships or other relationships in the household or in your community, and you need someone to talk to, give your counselor a reach out by sending an email. Or if you're concerned about someone else, we also have a form that can be filled out, which is located on our school website. So Mrs. Morales is going to jump back to that. But if you wanted to fill out a request for assistance for a student, for yourself, for a friend on campus, you would just go to counseling and you would select the section that gives you the choice to fill out the request for assistance. And in that Google form, you would indicate the person that you're wanting a counselor to reach out to. And it's confidential information as far as this information goes directly to the counselor that you select on the drop-down options, but it gives us a chance to connect with someone that could use some extra support, whether it's academic, personal, or social. So just know that we're here in the same capacity that we have been in the past, to help you with things that you're struggling with, and also to help you with the things that you're celebrating, because we like to show recognition in different ways. And, we're getting creative with that too when it comes to honor roll and stuff like that. But these are just some reminders of what's available on the school website if you haven't already bumped into them just searching on our newly designed school website.
Yeah, I'll have to say that this thing is amazing. You guys have, nothing missing here. You guys have a little bit of everything that you need. You have access to all of these different opportunities for the students to access. So that's fantastic. You do that. And I want to give a couple of shout outs here real quick. While you've been sharing this evening, we've got some parents and family members that are commenting. This gentleman, Donnell, said good evening. And we have Mrs. Clifford who's watching also. I want to give this little thank you and a shout out. And then lastly, we've got one more comment that came in while you're presenting.
Yes, yeah. We're glad to see that everybody's joining in and taking advantage of this information that's being shared tonight. So now I'm going to hand it over to Mr. No, and he's going to take on the conversation to talk about graduation requirements.
Okay, well, thank you, Ms. Davis. I greatly appreciate it. Mr. No, before we go any further, make sure you unmute yourself. And then secondly, I know that you probably have it on a screen or something. What's the score of the baseball game?
Oh, it's 1-0 or 0-1, I should say. Dodgers are unfortunately losing.
Okay. There's plenty of game left, so I knew you'd know the score. But go right ahead and give us the graduation requirement information.
All right, thank you. So to graduate from La Quinta High School, you need 220 credits. So it may seem like a large, obscure number, but you're in 6 classes every year of high school, 4 years. So 60 times 4 is 240. So as long as you're passing all 6 of your classes every year, you will actually end up with more credits than you need. So within those 220 credits, there are certain subjects that you need to complete. The page that we have up now, you can basically see how many years of each subject area you need. So beginning with social studies, 3 years or 30 credits is what you need to complete. Those credits coming from your 10th grade world history class, 11th grade US history class, and your 12th grade government econ class. You also need to complete 4 years of English. So you're going to be in English every year that you're in high school, which is equal to 40 credits. 3 years of math, and the traditional track that students take is Math 1, Math 2, and there are some options that you would be able to choose from to complete your 3rd year of math. 20 credits of science, which is 2 years, and within those 2 years, you have to complete 1 year of a life science, and you can see the life sciences listed there, and 1 year of a physical science. Moving down to our fine art or world language requirement, you have to complete 10 credits of that or a full year, and you do have the option of choosing one or the other. So you don't have to complete both, but as long as you complete 1 year of an art or language, that requirement will be met. And finally, you have 2 years of PE that you need to complete, and that's for every student to graduate high school. You've got to complete at least 20 credits of the physical education requirement. And then the last thing you see listed there are the 70 elective credits. And these elective credits come from any class that you take. So once you complete a certain subject area, if you take another class within that subject area, that basically goes down towards your elective credits. So just to kind of clarify that. So for example, if you were to have completed your 2 years of science and you decide to take a third year, that third year of science would fall down and go towards your elective credits.
Okay.
So again, 220 credits is what you need, and you just need to make sure to complete all those different subject areas.
And I just want to go over this real quick, Mr. No. These are the minimal requirements.
Right.
Minimal
So
requirements.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. So these are the requirements that you would need to graduate from La Quinta High School.
Yeah.
And so good transition. We also have our A through G requirements, which are classes that you would need to take and successfully complete in order to qualify for a 4-year university.
And that would be primarily Cal State or UC, correct?
Our California public colleges, yeah. So for our A through G requirements, the nice thing is a lot of the requirements overlap. So you can see for our history requirement, they are asking for 1 year of world history and 1 year of US. And because you're already completing that for graduation, you'll be meeting the A through G requirements as well. I do want to mention for our A through G requirements, you'll notice that at the top it says that these classes have to be passed with grades of C or better. So for graduation, if you do receive a D, you still receive the credits that you need that would go towards your 220 credits for graduation. But for our A through G requirements, we just want parents and students to be aware that these classes need to be passed with C's or better to be able to qualify for, again, our California public institutions.
So I have a quick question for you. I remember doing some of the A through G audits, and it's been quite some time since I've done it, so that's what I'm going to ask. So just say you're in a sequential math course, okay? You're in Math 2, and first semester maybe you get a D.
Mm-hmm.
Then second semester you do great and you get an A. Do you have to make up that D from first semester? How does that work?
You do not. So for our math and foreign language courses, if students receive any grade lower than a C for the first semester and then receive a C or better in the second semester, they do not have to make up that first semester grade.
So I actually knew the answer, but I wanted to make sure that our people watching knew the answer to that too, because I'll tell you, you guys have over 3 dozen are watching live, and that's fantastic because of the way that works out with numbers. That's a lot of your sophomores that are getting some valuable information.
Yeah, thanks for asking that.
Yep.
So for our English, again, this overlaps with our graduation requirements. They also are asking for 4 years of English.
Mm-hmm.
For math, you'll notice that you need 3 years to complete your A through G requirements. And I do want to make the point that one of the 3 years has to be successful completion of Math 3. So going back to our graduation requirements, I had mentioned that for the third year that there are a couple of options, but for A through G, just really important to note that one of the 3 years that you need to complete has to be at least Math 3.
Okay.
Laboratory science, so with graduation, the requirements overlap as well. So a year of a life science, which comes from biology, and 1 year of a physical science, which is chemistry. For our visual and performing art, or F requirement, I think I missed one, I'm sorry. Our world language, our E requirement, you have to complete 2 years of either French or Spanish. And this is where there is a little bit of a difference between graduation and A through G. For graduation, remember I said that you can choose between an art or a language, and you have to do 1 year of it. But here you have to do a world language for 2 years. So we do offer French or Spanish here on our campus. So as long as you complete 2 years, receive complete with C's or better, you would have met the world language requirement.
Okay.
Then we have our art requirement, and you can see all the different art options that we have here at La Quinta. So as long as students complete a year of that with C's or better, that requirement will be done. And then we have our college preparatory elective. And then if Ms. Morales would scroll down a little bit, you can see the different electives that we offer here. So there's 2 different ways that you can meet this requirement. You can either take any of these classes listed here, or if you go above and beyond the minimum requirement that the other A through F classes are asking, that would meet the G requirement. So for example, for our math, even though you only need 3 years, it's always recommended that they go above and beyond the minimum. So if they do happen to take a math class after Math 3, that class would go down and meet the G college prep elective.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, you guys as counselors got to be on the ball to make sure that, this goes to there, it matches up. This is a very complex puzzle that you're doing with every student because every schedule is different.
Right.
I give you guys a ton of credit for doing that. That's outstanding that you guys are able to look into that and do that.
Yeah, and we as they kind of progress through high school, we'll meet with them, as a junior and senior, just to make sure that they're on track for their graduation and A through G requirements. And we encourage kids to log onto their student view, parents to log into their parent view, and making sure that they're on track towards college and graduation.
So before we let you go off, Mr. No, we did have a couple of questions that are specific to this area that came in. This question just came in. It showed up. What if you take language class all 4 years? So you kind of answered that earlier, but what would that look like on the transcript, and how does that translate to A through G if you take a foreign language?
Yeah, so we encourage kids to take as many academic classes as possible. So they're they're encouraged to take 4 years of foreign language if they can, especially if they feel like they can receive that C or better grade, because college, again, the requirements that we went over, that's the minimum. So you want to make yourself as competitive as possible when you're applying to schools in the 12th grade. So again, we encourage kids to go above and beyond the minimum. So if they can take 4 years of foreign language, receive at least C's or better, we encourage that, highly encourage that.
Okay, now we have a question here then, and I have to apologize. I figure I should know the answer to this question. Mrs. Christensen's asking me a question here, and not asking me, but asking us. Does take culinary all 4 years count as PE? I figure I should know the answer to that, but I don't. So maybe you can help us out with that.
It does not. So it doesn't. So I know for students that are, it might be in reference to students that are in the Public Service Academy. So when students join PSA and they're in it there for 3 years, so they would join as a sophomore and then complete it as a junior and senior, those 3 years in the Public Service Academy does count as a year of PE. Culinary, unfortunately, by being in it 4 years, does not give any PE credit.
Okay, gotcha. I know there's some programs that have crossovers like that. I believe what marching band is also similar to that with PE credit.
Marching band does give a semester of PE credit, yeah.
Okay, and one more question here. You got a popular topic here in regards to foreign language.
Mm-hmm.
This is, what if you had 1 year of French and another year of Spanish? Will that count as 2 years? Great question.
That unfortunately would not. So it does have to be 2 years of the same language. And I'm glad we got that question about foreign language, because one thing I failed to mention, that when students are in 4 years of a foreign language, they would also get a seal of biliteracy. So that's another encouragement for students to take as many 4 years of language if possible.
And that goes right under their transcripts that colleges will then all see.
Right. So they'd be able to put that on their applications. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Do we have any more information coming here, Mr. No, or are we going to move on to Ms. Pena?
I think that's it. We're moving on to Ms. Pena, I believe.
Okay. Well, Mr. No, thank you very much for all that valuable information. And I'm sorry I put you on the spot there with some of those questions, but our families are asking, they're wanting to know. You enjoy the baseball game, and I'll see you in about 10, 15 minutes.
Thank you. Sounds good.
Okay. Hello, Ms. Pena. How are you? You are muted, Ms.
Try this
Pena.
again. I caught it before you corrected me. I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Excellent.
Let's see. All right. So really quick, I'm super a nerd about the biliteracy seal. I'm super excited. It gets me excited because I wish I had the opportunity when I was in high school. I know that students who are able to take either 4 years of a language or their world language, or possibly I know some students who have been advanced with level 2 in their French or Spanish course. So if they're able to take an AP or IB course and pass the exam, they have the opportunity to earn the biliteracy seal. There's 2 parts to it, though. It's also passing your English class with A's and B's, and your world language with A's and B's. So you're proficient in both of them to show your knowledge in both languages.
Okay, so it's not like the C or better. You have to have an A or a B. You need to have a premium grade. Gotcha.
Correct. And so definitely having that opportunity. In your junior year, many students will take a test as well. And so having a passing score met in English as well. So that's us looking at different possibilities. It sounds overwhelming when we talk about requirements, but if you have a conversation with your counselor one-on-one, it doesn't seem so overwhelming. Realistically, our students are doing what they need to by taking their courses and passing their classes in English and whichever world language. So definitely doable, definitely a big opportunity to have also on your diploma a seal that says that you are bilingual. Great for resumes for your future job, schools, and scholarships. So again, I'm super excited about the biliteracy seal, so I just kind of wanted to throw that additional info on there.
And I'll just point out, you're talking about it's great for your resume, it's great for those types of things. I know that for a fact in our district, if you're bilingual, you get more money. You get paid more money for your job. So, you know, it's definitely, I see it firsthand right here in the district.
Definitely. And for traveling, but that's a whole nother story. I like it.
Yeah.
So I guess moving on for after high school, definitely having the conversations of opportunities after high school. Some that I'm going to talk about is going to a four-year university, starting off with our California State University system, our CSU system that has 23 wonderful campuses. Our most local one being our Cal State or CSU San Bernardino. We actually are fortunate to have the opportunity to get a four-year degree here in Palm Desert since they have a campus, CSU campus here in the Valley. It's having the conversation. I know Mr. No talked about your A through G requirements, completing your courses, maintaining your GPA. And so highlighting that, yes, meeting your requirements and maintaining the GPA. While the minimum is a 2.0, obviously we want you to strive for your best and getting support to make it a little bit competitive, because as much as a 2.0 is a minimum, San Diego State, which is one of our CSUs, their minimum is a 3.8 for admissions. So definitely wanting to make sure that students know, get the best grades you can to have the most opportunities come your senior year. I know that highlighting that our top third has the ability to apply and get accepted to our CSU, but realistically, by passing your courses, by meeting your requirements and maintaining your GPA, you have the opportunity to attend CSU campus. I know you can't see it because of the information running on the bottom, but there will be a link when this is shared to go and review different CSU campuses based off of their majors, and to explore what you're interested in, and to use that link to see what schools actually have those majors on there. Moving on to the UC schools. And so we have our University of California school system with 9 wonderful campuses. Their minimum is a 3.0 GPA. Enrollment usually are top 9%. And again, sharing the information for UC schools, finding campuses that have your passion, have your major. I sometimes have students who have different passions, from art to math, and they're like they don't know what their future profession is. So I usually challenge them to find campuses that meet both of their needs, so that they can have the option of both, or finding where that passion lands, kind of a thing.
I've got a quick question for you, Ms. Pena. How many seniors are in your graduating class this year?
500 and I just looked this up. I want to say like 574, but I could be lying to you, but it's high.
So roughly based on that, 574, 57 of them are going to potentially get into UC schools based on the percentages and so forth. So my point saying this is, sophomores right now, if you really have the goal of going to a UC, that's a minimum 3.0 unweighted, right? Unweighted GPA?
Yes, unweighted and looking at their grades. But what I would highlight too is, as much as I know it's the 9%, that's the number that we usually highlight. It's also knowing that if you meet the requirements for your CSUs and your UCs, meeting those minimums, those requirements, you will have an opportunity to attend a school. However, it might not be the one of your choice.
Right.
But it is an opportunity that you would have.
My point being there is, get the best grades you can. Don't shoot for the minimum, shoot for the maximum.
Definitely. And the recommendations usually, if you're in that low B, high C range, start asking for help so we can support you to raise it. So I would also add on that we have link that all students have an account with californiacolleges.edu. And so that's a great resource because you can go on there. You already have an account because it's linked with your student email if you log in through Google. You could take assessments if you don't know what you want to do, see professions, what you'd have to do, type of education for those professions. So I would definitely go explore there because it also allows you to look at all these campuses in addition to any private schools, out-of-state schools, looking at tuition. So something definitely great to explore, especially with your loved ones, to have those conversations on both ends of what expectations, what possibilities, what should be the goal, what kind of scholarships should we be applying to already to meet those goals. So definitely a good resource. But if you have questions, definitely reach out to your school counselors as well.
Okay, excellent. This is actually an A through G question that came in. I'm not going to put it up on the screen here, but a question that just came in that said a student received a pass credit on their French class last year. Does that count for A through G?
It does, but depending on where you landed on your French, like if that was French 1, obviously you have to complete French 2, but it does.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you. And then I'm passing it on to Ms. Peterson because she's going to give you more opportunities for after high school that you can mix match with your 4-year or go in whichever route you go.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Ms. Pena, and we'll see you in a little bit.
You got the
Hello,
two
Ms.
P's right back
Peterson.
to back.
Here we go. We got the 3's. I remember this from last time.
Right?
Enlistment, employment. Go.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got what I want the takeaway from what my part that I'm sharing are the 3 E's. So when you graduate or right when you're getting ready to graduate, everybody wants to know what you're going to do. And essentially you have 3 choices: enroll, enlist, or get a job, right? Which is employment. So the trick that I'm trying to say is we need to plan now for what you want to do in the future. Let me see if I turn down my volume. So we're going over that. So enrollment, you can start as early as right now taking IB classes. IB classes, when they come with the exam, you could go full IB or you can go IB certificate. And you take an exam at the end, you pass that exam with a certain number, the schools have the opportunity to take that for a class. So you can get ahead on enrollment for community college or university. And COD has that 2 years free. You can go free. They have certain criteria that they require you to do, but that's something we don't know. Your sophomores, will it be there after you graduate? We don't know, but I'm hopeful that it will be. But enroll, CSU, UC, private, whatever, trade school. Love the trades. Trade schools, sometimes they make way more money than people who have a master's degree. So you really need to look at the trade schools as well. So enroll in something, right, that's going to get you to the 3rd E, which is employment, right? So we're trying to give you an idea where you're thinking. The bottom line is you want to be employed so that you can buy your house and your car. And how are you getting there? You're either enrolling, enlisting in the military, or you're going directly into the workforce, okay? So we want to throw those items out there to you and make sure that you just are planning. We think we're just doing high school, but you're doing high school preparing for the next step. So that's the main item that we want. I'll note on here that there are 116 community colleges. What is interesting about each college, community colleges, they offer separate trade schools at each one. Like if you go to San Bernardino Valley Community College, they have a huge auto program and a big water reclamation program. If you come out here, we've got auto, HVAC, we've got architecture, we've got some water, like golf course stuff. So have a look and see what we've got here at COD. Check some of the other schools that are driving distance, or if you want to go to those and get a certificate. Highly recommend it. That's part of enroll, right? So it's enroll, enlist. You've got the 4 branches. We have recruiters here, Miss Van Bacter. She'll help you connect with them through our career center. And then from there, we've got the workforce. It's time to go to work. What I can tell you for sure, whatever you do internships while you're doing it. So if you're going to enroll, do an internship by your junior year. If you're going to 2-year school, try and do it your 2nd year. That will help you to get a job further and have something on your resume in the field so that you're not just educated, but you also have some work history as well. So really kind of pair those together. So heart shout out to the community college. They do a great job for tech schools. You just have to search and see if someone has a program that you want. But enroll, right? Mr. Webb, enroll, enlist, employment. Vocational schools, anything. We have like Mulan out here. There's UTI, which is the auto program. Some students just want to go quick, get it done, and then we move forward. So I just want to make sure your counselors are well aware of programs. If we don't know, we'll look them up, but we'll help you with all of that stuff in the future. But look at some of those schools, check their accreditation, make sure that they're okay, see if there's anything in community college that's comparable time frame wise, and then and choose and talk it over with your family.
Okay, I'm sorry that I had missed some of your presentation there. As you can see, I'm having some technical difficulties here.
Yep, military. Enlist. No, I'm not telling you to enlist. I'm offering it up as an option.
Okay.
And it's a solid option.
It's definitely a solid option. No, I know a lot of students that have taken advantage of the military over the last
Yeah,
years.
a lot of my family has, and they got their education while in the military. So they enlisted together, and they came out and they were employed right away.
Yeah. Well, speaking of employment, I'm going to just break topics here real quick.
Go for it.
Can you share about your own children and their employment and what one child is doing right now and is being recognized?
Okay, but we've got to keep it secret, okay? So my oldest daughter went to Cal State LA, and she got a degree in film, TV. It's called TVF. And so her senior year, at the end of her junior year, she started working on Conan as a volunteer. And as an internship, unpaid internship, right? And it's painful, right? Because the kids are working, they're going to school, and then they're working for free. But through that job, she landed many opportunities. And she's worked on HGTV, she works The Bachelor, she's worked on Rescue Live that was out here, right?
Okay.
And she's worked a lot. Now she's decided she's going to be a school counselor, so she's changing gears, but she has a degree, so she only has to do a 2-year program to change her trajectory, right? My younger kid got into
life experience there too.
Right? Yeah. It runs in the family. Woo. Okay, so the younger kid, she went to Cal Poly Pomona. She had some issues. Life changed a little bit. Her sister got her on The Bachelor, first an HGTV show, and then got her on The Bachelor. And this summer, she worked all summer out here at La Quinta at The Bachelorette. And she was their personal shopper, essentially. And then they took her to Pennsylvania, where they're filming The Bachelor right now. Okay. Not quite a secret, but a little bit. So because her sister got connected through Conan, her younger sister, because in that industry, it's who you know. So,
of course. Well, that's
right?
Really cool that they're both working like that, and they're getting this experience. And now that your daughter's going to follow your passion and be a counselor, so that's pretty awesome.
Well, she did substitute teach for like 5-6 years, supplementing while she was working in the industry.
I gotcha. So as I've been sharing, if you've been giving you information, I just want to make sure that I give a shout out that Mrs. Doyle, one of our former school parents from La Quinta, and I believe her daughter is a freshman there now. She says hello to everyone. And then I want to just point this out, Ms. Peterson, you'll definitely appreciate this. A student who was there when I was there just wrote this about me, and I'm sure all the other counselors are going to laugh when they see that I look younger.
I think it's true. You look fit.
Your father's done well for me.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's all that hiking you're doing.
I'm sorry?
It's all that hiking you're doing.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, well, I won't interrupt anymore. I know you have some more information for us.
Okay. No, I'm done.
Oh, you're all done. Okay, I'm sorry. I believe we have, let's see, Ms. Morales that's going to come join us. Well, thank you for all the information and sharing about your family. Wish you the best, Ms. Peterson, and we'll talk to you soon.
You're welcome.
You guys are having such a good time.
Yeah, we were. I'm sorry. We were reminiscing a little bit.
That's good. That's good. Well, I just want to highlight a couple of things that my colleagues said. Mr. Webb, I can't appreciate you enough. I think you refer to grades. You made a statement about premium grades.
Yeah.
And so I know Ms. Pena's mentioned that Mr. No talked about grades, but I want to reemphasize grades really do matter. They are important, and for so many different reasons. A lot of the institutions, the colleges calculate GPA a little differently. And so what I want our students to remember is B's or better. So again, referring to those premium grades that you mentioned.
Premium grades.
Yeah, whether it's a CP class, a college prep class, or an honors AP or IB, if you can remember B's or better, you're going to be in a really good place. And that's going to open up a lot of doors for you. Yeah. So the slide I have up here, it's talking about the Cal States and the UCs again and what their minimum GPA requirements are. And you said it really well. That's the minimum. We want you to reach for for your maximum potential. And so we want you to be competitive when it comes time to apply to college. We want you to get into that dream school that you have. And then there's also scholarship opportunities that open up with those GPAs. So the higher the grade point average, the more competitive you are for scholarships and an opportunity to get free money for college. And we would love for every student to get some type of scholarship. And then the other reason I'm going to appeal to my athletes out there, any students that are interested in continuing in their sport beyond high school, they really need to focus on their classes first and make sure that they are embodying what a student athlete is. So taking care of business in the classroom and then working hard out there on the field. And so student athletes also have very specific criteria and have to have good grades to get in and play. I think you're muted, Mr. Webb.
Technical difficulties tonight. Sorry about that. Just go ahead and continue.
No, that's okay. So again, we're highlighting the eligibility. Another point up here is the Cal Grant. So when students are seniors, they have the opportunity to fill out their financial aid applications. And one of the criteria for the free grant money is going to be their GPA. And so we wanted to make sure that families were aware of that. So they will factor in family income, but they're also going to look at the grades. Talking about scholarships. So sophomores, there are scholarship opportunities out there now that you can apply for. So on our La Quinta High School website, under the counseling department, we have a link for scholarships, and you can scroll through. There's a lot in there for seniors, but there's also a lot that you can access now and start applying and start putting away your, storing up your virtual piggy bank and start earning scholarships now so that when you graduate, you've got this compiled availability of funds to help pay for your education. So that's really important. Other things you can do, yeah.
And I want to point out, being a student and having the access to the Chromebooks and Google Drive and so forth, I would recommend any of the students right now that are listening and watching, and share this with your family and friends about this. Start a file in your Google Docs and put everything that you'll need for that senior profile. I'm sure that and I know that your senior profile list is already online. So if you're a sophomore and you want to get ahead of the game, start that right now. Start up that Google Drive file and have that set up so it's simple to access. Because I'll be the first to say that when it comes to scholarships, which I compare to like my job right now is I write a lot of grants and I look for grants. It's all about accessibility. As long as I have it right there, it's very easy to do. If I have to go searching for it every time, I may not do it. So I think if you start it now, guys, it'll pay off in the end.
Yeah, I thank you for referencing that. So we do have a link directly on our website, and there's templates right here. Yeah. We have examples of how students can be working on resumes. So I know myself, I got my first job when I was a sophomore in high school. And so I was starting to build my resume. Your resume can include your extracurricular activities. And that's something we haven't talked about tonight. We want you guys, even though we're virtual right now, we want you to get involved. We want you pursuing your passions and demonstrating to the colleges that you have interest beyond the classroom. So join a club, please. There's still access. We have a virtual club rush link. You can still join a club and get involved. And what better time than now when you can join in a Zoom meeting during office hours for the club. And If you like it, then as a junior and senior, you have some leadership opportunities available to you. And again, you're just working on that resume.
Okay. Yeah, definitely with the resume. And I have to apologize. I just saw your note here in the chat. I will go ahead and I'll put that up here as one of our comments at the end of the evening.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think I just wanted to touch on one more thing. So you mentioned the last virtual night. I was a college athlete, so softball is something near and dear to me, but I love sports, all sports in general. And I really want to talk to all of our athletes out there. As counselors, we do our very best to get out there, go to swim meets, watch water polo games, and see it all, but we don't know that you're all involved. It's really hard to track that unless you tell us. So please tell us, because we need to make sure that we're supporting you in reaching your goals. And if you have a passion for sports and any inclination to play at the next level, we need to make sure that you're taking the right classes. So Mr. No talked about the A-G requirements, and most of our courses that are A-G will meet the NCAA regulations, but they're very specific on what they want to see. And so we have to make sure that this course is fit. So make sure you let us know, and we will help you all the way through.
Okay.
So
Excellent
I think that's
information.
it. For me, I'm going to introduce Dr. Sean, who has a few exciting things to talk about in terms of college kickoff week.
Okay, I'll bring on Dr. Shantz. Thank you, Mrs. Morales, and I'll make sure to get that AVID information out there. I did put it in as a comment as well. Hello, Dr. Shantz. You are muted. Make sure you unmute yourself. And we have the Q&A session. This is always the fun portion. While I have you both here, I just want to let you know there was another comment here. Let's see here. I just added this up here. So there's the AVID information night that people can find that, as well as lastly, the other screen's having some issues here. Did you guys see this one earlier? Oh, I just want to make sure everybody saw that again. Okay. All right, Dr. Shantz, you're up. Sorry about that, Mrs. Morales.
Okay, hi. I just want to thank you. I thank you all on the behalf of the counseling department. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. For tuning in tonight or for watching this at a later time, we're doing our best, as Dr. Ramirez talked about in the beginning, to try to make sure that we're reaching out to families, that we're available. So thank you. I do want to highlight that on the La Quinta High School website, there is a college kickoff specific website linked to our website, and it's for the month of October, and it has some information that's very unique to the sophomore class, which the link you got to attend tonight was through that. But if you go to the home screen is full of school-wide opportunities for students, and in particular, I want to highlight that there are virtual college visits and workshops that we have one for all the UCs, all the Cal States, some of the private schools, and that is not grade specific. So your 10th grade student who is interested in specific colleges can definitely attend, ask questions, or just listen, and we encourage them to do so.
And I was actually part of a couple of middle school webinars where they were pushing it out to the middle school students as well. It's designed for all people to participate in. And before we go any further, Dr. Shantz, we did have a question about the AVID follow-up night. They're stating that meeting started 5 minutes ago. Should they leave this one or stick on? So I wasn't sure how to answer that.
No, thank you. That's okay. No, wait, because as soon as this is done, the AVID, we will all be moving over to that meeting. So.
Oh, you guys did a back-to-back again. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing I wanted to point out for 10th graders on the site is the California Colleges link. And so this is a really good tool that the students have had access to since middle school, but it has interest inventories, it has college search engines, and it has career inventories. I mean, it's kind of all inclusive and all comprehensive. And one of the really nice features about the program is that students can invite their parents. So if their parent is invited, they can see what their student's looking at, or they can talk about it together. So there's a lot of information. There's stuff about financial aid, like anything that you can think of that relates to post-secondary education, whether it's a trade school, a junior college, or a university, you can find on this website. So we do encourage students to check that out as well.
Okay.
Okay.
And I know this would be normally done in some of their classes that you guys would go into the classrooms and do it. But now
Yeah.
you guys are helping them out during office hours and those types of things. So that's
Correct.
just fantastic, the access that you guys are still providing.
Yes, we are trying. But I think we're ready to move on to the question and answer if you are.
Okay, perfect. Should I pull up all of the rest of the counselors now?
Yes, please.
Okay. And let's see there. There, we can take this one off. Here we go. Ready when you are, Dr. Shantz.
Thank you. So the first question we got today, I am going to direct to Ms. Morales. And the question states, do you know what colleges offer scholarships for students that have been in AVID for 6 years?
That's a really good question. I know that there is a Dell scholarship, which is specific for students that are involved in programs such as AVID. And so we highly encourage our students to apply. I do believe that's a 3.0 minimum GPA. So students need to make sure that they are still focused on their grades, but that's a great opportunity. They are looking for dedication and commitment. And then I just want to mention in general, the colleges, all universities have institutional-based scholarships, and what they're looking for in applicants are dedication and commitment, and students who are exploring passions. So showing that you've been a part of AVID for 6 years is a really positive when it comes to applying for scholarships and just applying to the schools in general.
Hey, can I add also, Mrs. Morales, that being an AVID student for 6 years is brand new, right? That would be brand new. So colleges are just figuring this out for the first time. Wouldn't that be safe to say?
I know for our school, we just had our first graduating class of AVID seniors last year. And so it was the first opportunity for looking to high school graduates.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great thing. It definitely stands out.
Yeah, definitely. So I think it definitely does stand out. And when I say first timers, I want to include the elementary school having AVID too, because soon we're going to have students that had it for 7 and 8 years.
Yeah, which is so great because it's such a wonderful program to expose students to the supports that they need and expose them to different college environments, different majors. It's a wonderful program.
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay, so my next question is for Ms. Davis. And it says, what AP classes are offered for juniors, and when will I know if I qualify for an AP class next year? So Mrs. Davis is our AP coordinator, as well as a fantastic counselor.
Oh, well, thank you. So for our juniors, there are pretty specific classes. For instance, we offer AP US History on our campus, and that's typically taken in the 11th grade. Some of the other classes that are offered here at La Quinta High School, at least in this last year, would be calculus courses. We have 2 different ones. So depending on your math level, you would be able to access those classes. And placement in classes really does go back to how you're performing in the current school year and your preparation through an honors level course that's, for instance, world history is a class you take before AP US history. So if you're in world history honors, you're setting yourself up nicely for that transition. And it's just a conversation that you do have with your counselor about your placement in these advanced placement courses. We do have a section on our website. If you were to look under academics, you'd be able to see the courses that we've offered this year. However, that catalog does change from year to year depending on our students' needs. So hopefully I addressed your question about AP courses. There's an AP exam that's associated with those courses at the end of the school year or in May of that same school year. But if you have questions specifically about your ability to access those classes, make sure that you bring that up with your counselor when you meet with them to talk about next year's schedule.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, this next one, I think anyone would be, we all have similar knowledge levels, but I'm going to call out Ms. Peterson. So, Ms. Peterson, can a junior take IB classes if they're not seeking an IB certificate or IB diploma?
I recommend it. So yes, you can. So we have IB certificate where you're taking one class, or full diploma if you're taking the whole program. So if you, like I had a student this year, he kind of didn't know what he wanted. He took the IB sports, exercise sports, and now he's really kind of narrowed down what he's going to study in college. So taking some of these IB certificate classes, it really puts you a bit ahead because it's giving you access to college level academics. It's narrowing down the academics, like what do you like it, right? That class. And then if you pass the exam, you have the potential to get credit at the college or university that you plan on attending.
Okay. So that was really the extent of the questions that we received tonight. I know that sometimes watching these, will perpetuate other questions that you have. And I just want to remind all of our parents and all of our students that there are 6 of us here in the counseling department. We are on campus full time, Monday through Friday. We're available by phone. We're available by email. I've invited some of my students if they want to Google chat me, if that's easier. But we are here to provide assistance, to answer questions. We just need to know you have them. So please utilize any of those ways to access us. And the other really great thing about our department is that, if one day someone's not there and you have an immediate need, if you get an auto response like counselor's not in the office, if you call, any one of us can help you. And Mr. Leone is the person that answers the phone for us. And if you just call and say, Dr. Shantz is out today and I have this question, can someone else help me? He will direct you to one of the other 5 counselors and you can get your answers right away.
No, I commend it to you guys, Dr. Shantz, and I'll bring on Dr. Ramirez again here. I think it's fantastic in what you guys do and relating and getting out to your families all this great important information. This, like they said, Dr. Ramirez said earlier, this is something you normally do, and you guys haven't skipped a beat. You guys have just kept on going. And I love that you guys have adapted. I love that you guys have adjusted, and you're making students the first priority here. It's fantastic. Absolutely. Dr. Ramirez, is there anything you'd like to say before we close out?
No, again, just thank you for hosting, and everyone else, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to working with you guys. Feel free to reach out, and counseling department is always available. So thank you.
Okay. Excellent. And I'm available for whenever you guys need this. Please let me know. I know that one question I asked that would probably come in, and actually we got a question coming in right now. If you're a freshman, will there be a freshman night like this? And what does that look like? Maybe I'll ask that to Dr. Shantz.
Okay, thank you. No, so we're not actually going to have a Facebook Live, YouTube Live event for freshmen because we're scheduling individual conferences with our 9th grade families. So there was emails that went out. So we emailed our individual caseloads. And if you have lost that in your email or you haven't seemed to get it, it's gone. You can go ahead and go to the College and Career Kickoff website. And if you look under 9th grade, it shows our emails and you can contact the counselor to set up that Zoom meeting. We've been doing those 9th grade planning meetings for the last, we started about a month ago. And we have scheduling tools to help, but if those dates and times don't work, you can just contact us directly in one of the ways I talked about earlier. So that's our replacement because we're trying to give our 9th grade students a little bit more one-on-one attention. And that kind of springboards from the fact that in general, it's our school practice that in the spring we meet with our incoming 9th grade families to do planning and to answer questions. And this year that was cut short. So we've just sort of pushed it to the fall, and now we're planning and doing all those meetings now.
Well, I think that's absolutely amazing. When I hear you have over 500 seniors right now, I'm sure you have over 600 freshmen. Divide them up amongst you guys. That's amazing that you guys are going to meet with 100+ families, and then on top of your regular caseloads. So I commend you guys for all that you're doing over at La Quinta High. You're doing great things for the community, great things for the school site, and just to even give you more of an explanation point, get some families here that are also appreciative of it too. So thank you again. La Quinta High School, outstanding. I'm glad to call myself, a Blackhawk, and I enjoy being with all of you. Great job tonight. And to our families that are watching, all of this information, as I said, it's accessible on their website. Very, very informative there. And please reach out if you have any questions. You guys have a great night. Make sure to wear your mask and wash your hands. We'll see you later.